Kyuki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi, which I know is such a defining part of your life, your career, and it is in many ways representative of you wherever in the world you go, is making a comeback.
Is
Also,
it?
also the buzz.
Have I made any official announcement?
Can I officially announce it?
I don't know. You have to dial up
I'm,
your friend Ekta Kapoor.
I'm not allowed to. All right, let's just say
Okay.
Market Buzz says that this iconic show that single-handedly changed the face of Indian television is coming back in a new roop, in a new avatar, and with a new ideology, but with the same soul and tradition. And if it were to happen, so let's talk about it hypothetically.
Mhm.
How would that make you feel?
Well, I think that since I'm sitting in front of one of the industrial giants of India, I must say that look at television today from a different perspective.
Yeah.
When we did television 25 years ago, we have to be cognizant of the fact it was never sold as an economic pursuit or a revenue generating opportunity. Today, it employs between TV and OTT 2 million Indians.
Wow.
Television last year had a revenue of 30,000 crores and OTT had a revenue of 24,000 crores. So it is not only the economic value, but more so, I think it's the cultural value. It is the emotive value that comes to screen, which is of, I think, a cause of celebration. I know there are many in the audience. In fact, one youngster here who has possibly kept photographs from when he was 11 years old is today a podcaster,
Wow.
and he has been incessant in his pursuit of what those lines or what those stories mean.
Yeah.
So I think many a times we create stories without knowing the multi-generational impact of it, and Kyunki is one such story.
And it actually in many ways impacted the social fabric of our of just the way life is and continues to be in an average home of our great nation.
Our big highlight was when in one of the movies which was directed by you, Kajol walks up and says, "Are Mihir mar gaya."
Yeah.
And everybody on
Yeah,
set
yeah.
said, "Did you see Kajol did this in a
Yeah.
Karan Johar movie?"
Yeah, it was in
So,
Kabhi Khushi Kabhi
yeah,
Gum.
I believe so.
And I remember it was at that time, it was a part of our existence. I remember walking in and my mother just riveted. And not only that, it was like dad who was also riveted. And it was both of them. And then I used to sit and watch it. And at that time, it was, I have to say this, ma'am, and I say this with only love and admiration, but it wasn't the coolest thing to say that, you're riveted by watching Indian television at that time.
I think movies were not cool from
Yes.
India.
Yeah.
Songs were not cool, and
Nothing
neither
was
was
cool. Nothing was cool.
television series. Why
Nothing
only
was cool.
single out Ekta Kapoor?
Uh,
But I think that what is
but I remember being riveted, and I remember it actually used to annoy me that Ekta and yourself had to be on so many platforms, always justifying, the
I never
tradition.
justified anything.
Ekta had to have, was always asked that question.
That was her onus. I was only happy celebrating the paycheck.
No, but like Ekta had to go on and say that, that this is not regressive, that this is something that is value based and has a certain deep rooted culture. And brings me to my next question. Today, in this hyper woke era, if again, hypothetically, because we're not allowed to officially speak about it, and I'm most excited if this is the truth,
I
because
love
I
the
do
shadow
believe
boxing. Yes.
I do believe that it will again change the face of like streaming and television today. Today, do you think that Kyuki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu Thi needs a new syntax, or you think that it needs to remain and retain its inherent tradition?
We created the tradition of Saas Bahu.
Yeah.
We created the template for emotive family drama. She was the first one off the block.
Yeah.
And when we started, we were given this godforsaken time slot at 10:30 in the night where India went to sleep.
Yeah.
And I think it was to the credit of Ekta Kapoor and her team that took an absolutely dead slot. And we were the tailwinds of Amitabh Bachchan in KBC.
Yes.
So the program was never positioned to succeed. It was always positioned as though it is a polite rejection.
Yeah.
And the fact that 25 years ago, the topics that came up in the show were marital rape, adult literacy, ragging on campuses,
Yes.
the right of a woman to choose to be in a marriage where the husband cheats on her or not, or walk away. These topics 25 years ago, and especially marital rape, were not topics that were widely spoken of, let alone be debated through a so called fancy family drama.
Yeah.
So I think that she pushed the envelope even then,
Yes.
but she was not very verbose about what she was doing. Today, in the so called woke generation that you speak of, there is a huge conversation around pay parity.
Yes.
That is a time where we broke that so called glass ceiling, where the female protagonist unabashedly said that I am paid more than the male actor.
Yes.
And we set that template even in terms of parity. So, if presumably this is to happen again, I'm sure, given Ekta's inclination of pushing the envelope, she will do that again.